change and start with our first motivational session.
That's a great idea. So, what are you introducing us to next?
As you know, objectivity and independence are important ethical values in the accounting profession. Chartered accountants must remain free from conflicts of interest and other questionable business relationships when conducting accounting services, isn't it?
Yes, I do agree to that. And I do agree that as future chartered accountants, we all do have to know the ethical values in the CA profession. I request Mr. Yatish to escort the session chair, CA Sridhar L, to the dais with a huge round of applause. Louder, guys.
I request Mr. Yatish to welcome CA Sridhar L with the floral bouquet. Over to Mr. Yatish.
Ability is what you are capable of doing. Attitude determines how well you do it. Motivation determines what you do. Ethics shows who you are. Good afternoon, dear friends. I welcome you all to the first motivation session of the day. Importance of ethical values in CA profession. Ethics is very important for CAs as we are vigilant professionals with an eagle eye. Ethics defines CA professionals and their integrity. Today, it's my honor to introduce CA L. Sridhar, one of the renowned motivator who is here to inspire us and to help us to reach the pinnacle. Mr. L. Sridhar is a visiting faculty of IIMs and partner of Sridhar and Brito, Chartered Accountants and Bengaluru. His qualifications are BCom, FCA, FCS and DSA. He is practicing Chartered Accountant, qualified in the year 1981 and worked with two eminent firms of public accountant, namely PwC and Lebrand. After serving them between 1982 to 1987, he started his own private practice. He heads the indirect tax law practice and company secretarial services at Sridhar and Brito. His subjects of specializations are audit, financial analysis, contract management, direct and indirect taxes. He is also a corporate trainee for various MNCs. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Sri S. Sridhar to enlighten us about more about the team.
Good afternoon. Are you done? I'm more conscious of this guy. Very happy to be with you. Yeah, he's doing his job. Okay. Let's get on with our work. Motivational talk. After a very heavy technical session by a motivator, everything that is said about me is wrong. I am no motivator at all. Well, I'll speak to you something about ethics. Sometimes what happens is even in our examination preparation, when you're very tired with technical subjects, take something very light and read. So perhaps to bring down the intent and content, we have been put to this motivation session. Does not matter. Let's try our luck. What is ethics? Professional ethics. What's profession? Who is a professional? What ethics is all about? Should it be taught or should it be caught? We all come from our roots. Our first teachers are our parents. No mother will ever teach a wrong to the child. Is it not? There can't be a purer person than a mother. Then we learn from our siblings, our relatives, our friends, our colleagues, our peers. And we have value How much time do I have? How much time do I have? 5 minutes. I'm good to go at 5 minutes. But then, these are something of innate qualities and values. We are often mixed up with ethics, values, morals, looks very synonymous. But we are born in a country, we are born in a family, we are born to a society, to a culture, and we carry that culture with us. When you say profession, it's something very different in the sense it's our livelihood, it's our specialization, it's our exposure to work, our expertise. We can be expert in anything. It could be engineering, it could be architecture, it could be accounting, it could be law, it could be legal, it could be anything. How we evolve is the question. We have what is called today's world of information. What is not there in public domain today? Everything you have. Actually, you don't need a teacher, they say. Everything is available on YouTubes, on everything. But then that's merely raw information. You read in your books, you go to colleges, schools, time up to 5:35, shut up after that. Okay, thanks. Yeah. First day of any conference is the most difficult day because the inauguration will always overflow. Afterwards, the technical sessions will get curtailed. And when we come to deliver, we are lost. Does not matter, we'll try to do justice. I have about half an hour's time. So we need to understand that there is something more to it. I'll give you a small example for sake of time quickly. There was one building in Bangladesh which crashed. Do you remember? It was like a large high-story building. It had 7 or 8 floors. And all garment units were housed in that place. All the world's best brands were being manufactured and packed over there. One fine morning, the building came down, crashed. 1,100 people died. After that, it was investigated. Hey, what went wrong? The building was put on a land which was originally a pond, a water body. The building was coming up and it came up much sooner than a normal building construction would take. All the engineering audits and permissions were managed. Finally, what had happened is the building had collapsed. Does this corporates which created the building or the business persons who made it have an obligation to the society or not? Is the question. The cost of being unethical was 1,100 lives on one single day. So this is what ethics is all about. We are in accounting profession. Often, many of the big firms are targeted that they give their opinions, certificates, without validation, without audit. What would be the image of this profession going this forward? I am at least 4 decades of experience. I have seen this profession very different. Its face has changed completely from what it was to what it is today. Having witnessed all that, I can tell you, I've seen many chartered accountants, brilliant fellows who have fallen by the wayside, not for any other reason, want of ethics. When I say ethics, it is personal ethics too. It is not merely some examination, some job, some career. It's all right. But then, what are you as a person in terms of your qualities of head and heart? That matters quite a bit. To make a very strong country, young, lovely people like you have to also evolve ethically as much as you evolve intelligently. Your intelligence will burn out at some point of time if your body and mind does not cooperate with you. Hence, personal ethics becomes extremely important. Sometimes when we go to work with somebody, either the client or the auditing firm, sometimes you find yourself dealing with people uncomfortable. Happens or not? You need not have to compromise your personal ethics. You leave them aside. If you can bring your ethics forward, you will transform the others. But if you are going to become a victim, many a times as you start your career, there would be pressure of money, critical size of the practice, economics, and you may be under pressure. For example, some of these clients, they are very chalu. They will not respond to you despite your emails, SMS, whatever, telephone calls, follow-ups. They will choose to come towards the end of the deadline. Happens or not in your offices? And the delivering organization is under pressure. And when you are under pressure, you compromise on your audit techniques, on your audit processes. There are many compromises which we do, and we ultimately bring down our working standards. This is precisely what happens in real-time practice. And therefore, what do? Start early. Keep everything on record. Document everything on record. And at times, friends, in my firm, we have said no and dropped the work without bothering about the consequence, because we have been asked to do an audit which requires time, and since we don't have the time, we would say sorry. Let's take the latest of the developments through these technology processes. UDIN. You need to give your audit report on a particular date or before, and you are given 15 days time to register the document with the CA Institute. Why has this been done? To preserve our privilege, our stature, our culture, that we are very reliable professional firm. Would you like to go to a medical practitioner who is short of expectation in terms of his prowess in medicine? Will you risk your health? Very similarly, the stakeholders, would they risk coming to you if you are not reliable firm of chartered accountants or professionals or whatever? And therefore, the fact that we are reliable depends upon the way we conduct ourselves. As the introduction started, independence. Audit independence is a very critical thing. The client may be a friend. The clients may be known to you, very close to you, proximate, whatever. But when it comes to work, it is based on evidences. It is based on documentation. It is based on judgment. It is not based on hearsay. We are not here to conclude our professional work based on assumptions, not on presumptions, not on guesswork, not on pressure. We should not reduce ourselves to the level of one notary public who will put a signature and a stamp any time. There's a lot of difference because the stakeholders trust us. The entire story turns around to this word called trust. The public at large believes in you because you come from an institute of chartered accountants, you are well trained, you are given a skill set, and you are trained over a period of 3 years, and then you qualify, and then you start your practice. You are not somebody who started from an academic fora and suddenly started doing professional work. You have been trained. You are expected to bring your skill sets into application. And therefore, I'll spend 5 minutes with you on you students, please permit me to indulge. Your articleship training period is a golden period. Every minute of yours is an investment in learning. What you learn from the books is merely academic. What you turn around in your office is the practical exposure. Experience and exposure and practical application is what converts you from an ordinary person to a professional. A professional is an expert. And therefore, work ethics become extremely important. You need to be at your place of work in time, punctuality. Prepare at home. Read your subjects. And then use it to apply at your office work. Every time your senior gives you a work, do not hesitate to read the sections and regulatory provisions and circulars and notification and challenge him. That's the way you grow. You should read, reread the same sections again and again. Believe me, this is my experience. Every time you read these provisions, you get a newer perspective, newer dimensions. And therefore, how you use your time at your office becomes extremely important. Don't waste your time in gossip. Don't waste your time in comparison. Don't waste your time in judgment. Whether your boss is an idiot or an intelligent person does not matter. What matters is what is the work you had what work you have had on hand, and how best you can turn around. If the seniors are not good, you become the change what you want to see. Lead by example. Don't cow down and resign yourself, because once you start, that rest of the people would follow. My story is, I started in a very small firm. I don't want to name it. I had zero exposure in my 3 years of articleship. With mere academic mugging and vomiting, I became a qualified CA. I have no shame in confessing that. But then, very gradually, brick by brick, I assimilated my professional thoughts, skill sets over a period of time. And I was blessed to be working with very good organizations, and therefore I am what I am today. But the point is, you should use your time very beneficially. And therefore, in your own organizations, write your workbook, write your timesheets, write your journals, have your mutually empower each other, allow your peer and colleague to grow, teach him, and you move ahead. You know how you climb the stairs? You have to release the bottom hand and move up. Otherwise, you can never move. You should not become insecure that if I stop doing this, I will not get work. And you will be stuck to level 1. You will always have the guts to give up what you are doing to do something bigger. You must have the courage. We will always make mistakes. We will always be ignorant in one thing or the other. So what? Fear kills. Just shelve this attitude of fear. Have the boldness and courage to say, I don't know this, I want to know. Whether it is your principal or whether it is your client, You are examining some aspect of a transaction. You can simply ask, how do I know? How do I verify? How do I validate? How do you justify? You have to be curious, and it should come from inside. Intuitive professionalism is what I would recommend. Your inner voice will speak to you. For that, you should be available. You should be available at the place of work. You should not be bunking. You should not be wasting your energy. Your mind is like a Victoria railway station in Mumbai, full of thoughts, full of experiences, full of noises. But if you want to become a very effective professional, you need this ekagrata. You need the one single-minded devotion towards the goal of becoming a class professional of your own, whichever line of business, whichever line of practice which you take. For that, sacrifice is called for. You need to express your gratitude to the people who are bringing you up, and then also spend your time, invest your time. After all, a few years of your articleship is an investment. Many a times what happens is, I'm sorry to say this, most of my students who come, they go away on coaching classes in the morning, computer classes in the evening, some wedding somewhere, some holiday somewhere, some puja somewhere. See, listen, this CA course has been made an incidental aspect, and the office is made as a landing ground to decide what you want to do for the evening. You will never make a professional. I'm sorry to say this. But you will see among your peers, one or two budding characters, they give their time, they give their energy, and they grow up like anything. Start your day very early. Please, this is my prescription for you. Don't be late night birds. Start your day early, end your day early. That's the best way to go about. And during the early point of the day, if you can, spend some time in reading, original reading. You are your best teacher. You can inculcate value system within you. You can aspire and learn. You can chart out what you want to do. And if you give yourself fair time, you will be able to surely perform in your office also. If you do not give fair effort, it's not fair to expect good results, is it not? Without preparation, can you go for an examination and get a rank? Is it possible? And you will envy others who have cleared, but you have not cleared. Why? Because you have not put the required effort. And see, one great thing about our institution is, we have no reservations, we have no segmentations, all are equal, everybody is equal. I am very proud of being a CA, I am being very proud of being a member of this institution. We must protect the name and image of this glorious institution. For that, we must expect results only out of our effort and not by chance, not by lotteries. It doesn't happen. Even if it happens, you cannot sustain the success. Even if success happens to you by chance, you cannot sustain it, because it will only be an entry point and you won't be able to sustain and perform. Employers will give you very good salary so long as you deliver. The moment you don't deliver, this world is cruel, merciless, ruthless. They will throw you off. I'm so sorry to say that. So friends, in that context, what I would like to tell you is, you have to develop certain qualities of head and heart. You must believe in a very critical aspect when it comes to ethics. Documentation is the most important part of ethics when it comes to practice. Very often, I have seen brilliant colleagues, they do wonderful things, but they don't document. The next man does not know what you have done. When you do your work, you will help your firm. How? Look behind the previous workings. Look ahead. Look at the current data. Plan, watch, compare, contrast, analyze. The world is full about data analytics and things like that. And you have to be part of that growing group. And if that is the case, you must be able to learn. Don't go and compare yourself with somebody else. Compare the data, your client's data with some other data. Draw a parallel, draw the exception. See how you can get into the nuances of every discussion which happens in the office. Often, your principal does not know you are really interested. That's because you do not let him know, let her know that you are keen. Sometimes when you are so withdrawn out of shyness or out of fear, people don't recognize you. Have the courage in you to go and tell your boss, hey, come on man, give me also some work. Surely it will be given. Try once, twice. If it does not give you, change your job. Okay, so ethics becomes extremely important in terms of documentation. Another very important thing I would like to share with you, out of your excitement, discuss anything academic. Discuss without quoting names of your clients. Non-disclosure is not merely a legal agreement between a firm and its client. These non-disclosure matters are extremely sensitive. It can cause and ruin the client, innocently or otherwise. So you must be extremely careful that one client's information is not set before another client. These are what we are all extremely sensitive about. Ethical practices are these, because many a times, many nasty things happen out of a professional's firm. And that's because innocent mistakes happen. I'm talking of innocent things and not willful, because none of us here are willful people. We are just innocent. We sometimes make mistakes. We have to preempt the mistakes by being very aware. So what happens is, one client's, would you appreciate a doctor discussing your personal medical matters with any other person? You would not like. Very similarly, a client, in fact, I would not even realize these things very early in my professional practice. But then my clients would say, hey Sridhar, you are sitting in the middle of your office and yelling your throat out. Everybody knows what's happening. Can you keep me inside a room and strip me and do whatever you want? Please don't do it in public. It's kind of a thing. Then I suddenly realized awareness. This is what is called awareness. Often we do not know what we are doing. We are so mechanical, so reactive. We are not responding to the situation, but we are very reactive. Often this happens with you people when you work with your principals and seniors. What happens is, even before something is said, you are already reacting. Can you be a good listener? Can you respond? Can you take a pause? Can you apply your mind? Can you say with guts, I need time. I want to read and come back to you. Don't promise to deliver something to impress a person. If you have to take 1 hour to finish the job, tell your boss, sir, I will take 1 hour and 10 minutes. Deliver it in 50 minutes. Wow. But please don't make tall-pitched commitments and not able to keep it. The next thing which I would like to share with you, what happens in my offices. Our colleagues end up doing the work of the clients. They are emotionalized. They are distracted. You go and work for a company, a firm, and their audit is what you are representing to do. Instead, you end up doing clients' reconciliations, their books, their vouchers, and things like that. You lose your independence. You have to always start your work when their work ends, which means you need to orient your client to say, I will not start my work till you are ready with your books. Please, for heaven's sake, never pass entries in the books of your clients. This Tally as a product is good and bad in many ways. It can disturb audit trails like anything, which is extremely dangerous. Please do not disturb audit trails at all. Instead, you have to record them in your working paper files. Every segment of the work which you do, please lend your name. Say what you have done. This is what is called documentation. It need not be in bulky files as in the yesteryears of ours. You can do it on your Excel spreadsheets. You can describe the work. You can have your questions in place. You can tell the boss how you got your answers when, and from there they will pick up. So the work ethics becomes extremely important. It cannot be literally prescribed like a menu in a hotel. But the point is, for example, let us take 1 or 2 celebrities. For example, let us take a Virat Kohli. This guy was a under-19 captain and he got the World Cup for us. and he was selected and he was playing for the senior team. He was doing well, but suddenly his performance slumped. And on retrospect, he found that he is getting obese. He's adding on weight. And he started his physical regimentation, my dear friends. He is on record saying all this is what I have read. And till today, he is keeping that. He sacrificed his taste buds. He's a great foodie. But at work, if I have to perform, if I have to match, if I have to compete, I have to be athletic, I have to be leading by example. So when he leads by example, rest of his team have no choice but to follow. That is work ethics. You have to, if you come in time, yata raja tata praja, if you come in time, your team members will come in time. If you take it easy and then expect others to perform, it never happens. In my office, they used to call me, I am the chairman as well as the watchman. I close the office and go, those early days. The point is just this, work ethics is what you cultivate so that you become a very powerful professional. I don't want to name, but there is one colleague of ours who is also practicing as an advocate. This guy, he would not have his dinner unless he had put 3 hours of professional reading. I was traveling with him and he happened to sit next to me. I thought I'm going to have one nice session of 1 hour, 1.5 hours between Bangalore and Pune. I thought I will talk to him. This guy from his bag pulled out the professional journal and with a text marker, he went on. Even that 1.5 hours of professional time, journey time, he used it for his professional work. The point is, his ekagrata was something which was motivating me. He would not waste even that bit of time on travel. He will convert it into something worthwhile. I was asking him, at that time he said, boss, my quota is 3 hours of study. If I don't do, I can't have dinner. That's the kind of a regimentation which really makes a professional. Okay, I had many things to say, but I had to constrain myself because of time. I don't know how to divide the time and move on. Can I throw the house to some questions? Yeah. Some questions, please. If any of you would like to ask me to react to any of your questions, feel free. No holds barred. If I don't know, I don't know, but I'll try. No questions? So shall I? Some small tips I would like to give you. You must own the job given to you. Hey, that's work done by me. My signature, my class must be evident in the finished product. Behave politely. When I say behave politely, I do not mean that you succumb to the situation. Be firm on what you want, but language yourself very politely. Be bold and courageous. For heaven's sake, don't lie. You can't come. Sorry, sir, I cannot come. I don't like you. It's all fine. Please don't lie. Your boss will lose faith in you if you lie. Develop time sense. Keep time cost always in your mind. Ultimately, the entire business sense is about managing your time. Do not allow the client or his representatives to take you for granted. Proximity with the client at some times does not allow you to extract the information which you are supposed to in quick time. Their friendly banters, they will distract you, divert you, and delay you, and it will be inefficient work, and therefore you must draw a line somewhere. Do not mistake and compromise duty in the name of trust. Please understand, audit is to verify, not to believe. Trust is irrelevant here. We are here to validate the transactions and that is part of your work ethics. Do not be lazy. Do not be unnecessarily taking shortcuts. Go into the bottom of the transactions and verify the transactions with books of accounts. I've seen this happening. Again, I'm sorry to make this expression. I find the new generation as just about specialist in Excel. They think the audit starts with creation of Excel, some groupings and schedules and cut and paste some notes to accounts and then make over. For heaven's sake, that is not audit. Unless you go to your client's place, unless you see the processes, unless you see the vouchers and documents, unless you see the people, unless you feel the transactions, you have learned nothing. The 3 years is a pure waste, except that you may call yourself an Excel specialist. Nothing you have gained. You must necessarily ask to go to your clients' places, particularly when the clients are an industry and factory or a process-oriented organization. Please try to visit them and look at the controls, look at the processes, meet different kinds of people, not merely just the accountants. Many a times you will pick up extraordinary information talking about people other than in the accounting fora, like some of the managers, line managers, workshop fellows. You will know what had happened, what are the peculiar things which happened during the audit period, and you can collect them and extrapolate into your financials to see what you heard and what is there in the financials are true or not. Many a times, truth is withheld from you unless you ask for it. How do you ask? Audit is all about soliciting information. How do you solicit that information? So you need to develop skill sets. What are the skill sets? How do I intuitively query the client? How do you get this process skill sets in place? Experience, exposure, one experience exposed on the other to see how it works. It's a process. Never fear. Don't hide your ignorance. Don't put a false front. If you have not understood and if you have made a mistake, it's so. I'm a student. I'm learning, man. I'm not an expert. You are the expert. You have to teach me. Do not say things about which you are not sure. Never lend to false credence. It is very bad. Accept you do not know. Ask boldly about what you want to know. Always compare, contrast your past and present information so that analytical abilities can be evolved. Many a times, the law may not require, but if you can compare and contrast, you are all very good students of costing. You are doing an income tax work, does not matter. Match gross profits, find out the ratio of administrative, selling, distribution, financial overheads, see the pattern of divergence, ask leading questions, integrate information. There is an income tax law, there is a company law, there is many other provisions, GST, TDS, everything. Integrate them. I'll give you one simple example. You heard about some GST. Under the GST law, an input tax, this is from an audit trail point of view I'm speaking. Very recently I came across, I thought I'll share with you. One of my clients, the 9C review was going on, and I asked a few questions. The audit risk area in GST is about input tax credits and their allowability, and always I'm anxious about it. One of the provisions under 17.5 is, or other provision, if you do not pay your vendor within 180 days, if you do not pay your vendor within 180 days, you cannot claim the input credits. Whatever is claimed has to be reversed and interest has to be paid. So how will you know whether vendor dues are there or not? Please tell me. You will go into the suppliers list, creditors list, a very common sense, small things only I'm telling you. Creditor list. In the creditor list, this fellow's name does not appear. Then there was one other income, sundry balances written back. When you saw the sundry balances written back, one of the purchases for which input credit was taken was not paid for, disputed, and the liability has been reversed. Sundry balances written back. You won't even know, it won't even occur to you unless you have the analytical skill sets in place. Compare, contrast, and deliver your work. So there is no last word in terms of developing skill sets. Every moment, every day, every time, we at our age we learn. Young men and women here, you will also be learning. So give yourself that fair chance. What happens is, there is something called presumptuous mind. It will block you. This should be all right. You go based on certain things, not based on validation, but presumptions. Many a times, many frauds have been unearthed from out of things which look extremely perfect. Everything looks neat and clean, but you don't do the audit. You think, okay, banks reconciled? Okay. All right, banks have reconciled, man, show me the reconciliation statement, what are the reconciling items, how material they are, how they are reversed or not. This is a technique which you normally do, but you don't do. Banks reconcile, pass. You understand? You have missed an audit technique. And something gets, that is exactly what happened in Satyam Raju's case. I have no time to speak about it, we'll see. Okay. I'll close with 2 or 3 small observations. There is no substitute for hard work. There is no easy route in this profession. You must take the example of that crow which was thirsty to drink water, and it finds a half jar of water and its beak does not reach. What does it do? It collects lot of pebbles, lot of hard work, and then the water rises and it quenches its thirst. That is hard work. You must develop that attitude towards that intelligent, sensible hard work. You must focus on priorities. You are going to be mixed up with many obligations in life's journey. What is important for you? What is critical for you? The evening gossip, the visit to the club, and things like that, or my quality service to my client whose meeting is there next morning, do some night study. Focus on your priorities. You are like, a crane which picks up fish from the pond. It will see a lot of fish going, but it will just be like a Gautam Buddha, very still. And when the big fellow comes, it will put its beak in and pull out. It has its focus, and it takes what it wants, and it is not bothered about the rest. You should also develop that quality of focus. And you are necessarily required to be extremely alert in your workplace. Another example is like a dog. It might be sleeping. Just walk across. That fellow will get up. Yes or no? That kind of alertness. You go in pursuit of knowledge. Leave your comfort zone. Just wherever quality people are available, quality advice is available, good circles are available. I was very moved to see 2 youngsters speaking with so much energy. Wow. And I have not seen during my times. I'm so proud that you people are like that. And the Sikasa's speaking guild, which can create more speakers, I bless them from the bottom of my heart. Creating that kind of a people is excellent. Congratulations to you. And that's the kind of thing we need, because sincerely I mean this, to encourage and to create, to empower, to mutually empower, to be in, see, if you are in the right group, you will acquire the right kind of knowledge. If you are in a wrong group, you will do all wrong things. And during young age, I have also gone through that in my life journey. At young age, we are very impressionable. We pick up everything. Unwanted things we pick up. Terrible. I want to tell you one experience. And with that I will close. I was traveling from Gurgaon, Delhi airport to the city. And one Punjabi fellow saw me, a South Indian, in his car and said, "Saab, गाना सुनोगे?" "क्या गाना यार?" "Sir, आपका South Indian super hit, sir." And he put one song, Kolaveri D. Don't laugh at me, please. You do not know, I reached my hotel and I was on the elevator with another colleague of mine. Without my knowledge, I was humming that jingle. You understand the impact what it has? Anything and everything. What I'm saying, it is not merely the food which you eat, what you hear, what you see, what you smell, everything has got an impact on your professional personality. And therefore, use your time and energy wherever available to collect as much of professional material which you can gather for your tomorrow. You never know what is going to be your future. Each one of you are going to be great professionals of tomorrow. I bless you with the bottom of my heart. And based on time constraint, I draw a line here and close. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for such an enlightening session. The world is watching how we walk and how we talk. A man without ethics is like a wild beast left loose. We must have the highest standards of morality, ethics, and integrity if we are influence others. As future chartered accountants, only we can save the world through peace, goodwill, and reconciliation. On behalf of Bangalore branch of ICAI and Sikasa Bangalore, I request Ms. Priyanka to present a memento to C.A. Sridhar sir as a token of gratitude. This concludes motivational session.
Thank you, Mr. Yatish.